Hello, welcome back to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Medeka. With me, as always, my co-host, the Mercso, Mike Merkel.
I'm here.
We are back, Mike. Last week, our favorites episode was a huge hit. We are episode 51. Next week is the 1-year anniversary of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. How crazy is that? A little crazy, right?
Yeah. What are they doing for it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
No idea
good.
whatsoever. It's one of those things where, I don't know. You know what we're going to do? We're going to provide the same great quality content we do every single week that our fans expect and enjoy.
Right.
If you've been with us since day one, we greatly appreciate it. If you haven't, you're just joining on, welcome to the show. Mike, we got a lot of stuff to go over this week, though. I am back. I'm a married man. I am back from the honeymoon. I am fired up. I'm ready to go. We're going to talk AEW's first pay-per-view since they did the TNT debut on live television with Full Gear. We're going to go over that. I know, Mike, you have some hot takes about that. It's going to upset some of the internet fanboys out there. We have NBA load management we're going to talk about. You know, Kawhi's been sitting for the LA Clippers. LeBron has come out and said, I'm not sitting unless I'm hurt, which, you know, he's 55 years old, so it could happen, but you never know. Get a case of the gout or something. We're gonna talk the NFL Kaepernick saga a little bit. We're not going political. We don't do that on this show because we don't really care. But we are going to talk about the implications as far as him as a quarterback and whether he should be signed. We're also going to talk Michigan State and what a close, highly competitive game that was. You know, really close.
I was on the edge of my seat
till the very end.
Till the end of the first quarter. End. Oh wait.
Every Michigan State fan just tuned out right there.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk college football playoff. We've got some major shakeups in the top four potentially, some injuries that are going to affect everybody's top four, and we're going to get Mike's top four and where he thinks everyone should be ranked because he is the college football expert here on the show. So let's just jump right into it. AEW Full Gear was a show. Now, I did not get the privilege of watching this show. I have been out of town for the past week, but Mike did. He kind of took some notes, kind of gave me the rundown. I know what happened. Mike, just give me your overall thoughts on the show. I got to watch some highlights, bits and clips. I didn't get to watch the full, sit down and watch the 3 hours. But give me your overall thoughts on the show. I know you got some hot takes. That's gonna disrupt the AEW wrestling universe.
Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't think it was gonna be a hot take until you told me after I told you that it was gonna be a hot take.
I was like, oh my, that's gonna, I think, hurt some people's feelings.
So for people that didn't watch the show, that if you want in a phrase what it was, it was a bad to good, a decent NXT TakeOver show. Okay. Is what this show was. It wasn't up to pars of if you're gonna, because NXT's direct comparison. Yeah. It's not like a New Orleans or New York from this year. You're not anywhere near that tier yet of what the show was. Mm-hmm. You're probably more in the lines of the NXT Phoenix or an NXT TakeOver.
It sounds low-key when you say Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. And you got the War Games that are they're good events,
okay.
But
outside the War Games match, there's not a lot.
There's not a lot that goes on.
Right.
That's kind of what this was. You go through the card and you went, you have Sean Spears and Joey Janela in a match. You're
okay.
The women's title match was good. Nothing there was no match on this card really that was wow. There we go. Right. There we go. That's the take-home match right there. Right. Everything was just it was all very good, but nothing outstanding, but there wasn't anything bad.
Yeah, there wasn't a match, I don't think, even, I think people had very high expectations for the Jericho-Cody match, which I'm a little shocked by a little bit because although they are very great storytellers, they are almost a dying breed within AEW because they are not the same kind of wrestler as the Young Bucks or the Lucha Brothers are. They are very much a methodical, it's a slower pace, it's a build to big moments, right? It's slower, and I think AEW fans, as much as they want to be Cody's awesome, Chris Jericho's awesome, and they are, I don't think enough people understand the difference in why they are who they are. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's something that I think kind of shocks some people. We talked about after I think it was Double or Nothing, when Jericho won the title. All Out, sorry. Where Jericho won it and everyone's like, wow, that match was really slow. Yeah. And I'm like, what did you guys expect was going to happen? I mean, Jericho ain't going around at 46, 47, 48 years old and flipping and dipping, and that's not his game anymore, guys. It's never really been his game. So to expect that kind of that output, you're not going to see Kenny versus Pac when you have Cody and Jericho in there. Yeah. You're not going to see that the pace is different, the storytelling is different, the way things are set up and built towards is different. So I think people need to kind of get on that train a little bit. What did you think about the main event, I guess, with Kenny and Moxley? Some people said it was too much. Other people said grow up and just accept it for what it was. It was a good match. Yeah. What did you think? Did you think they went too far with it? Is there any drawbacks for you?
I would say, if anything, I think as a first one, I think you go too far. Because I think every other title match and everything that they've done of a first ever on AEW so far has been like good, but there's places to be better. Yeah. So like you have Hangman Page and Jericho for the first ever World Championship. Very good match, but there's definitely like
there's a seal. Yeah, you're here, but your ceiling is still way up here.
There's a high ceiling,
and you can hit that at times without really.
You watch all these tag team matches and you go, these are really good, but just wait till the title's on the line, then you get Bucks and Phoenix and stuff. Yeah. That's when the heightened's gonna go. So I think this match was the one that they almost did too much, and now you're at your ceiling. Yeah. So when this match comes around a second, third, fourth time down the line, you're gonna look back and well, it didn't really compare to.
I like it a little bit to Hell in a Cell. A little bit, and the way I do that is like, I've been really heavy on like an early late '90s kick and old WWF style stuff, but where like when the first Hell in a Cell happened, right? Yeah. It was groundbreaking, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like this was beyond expectation, right? So when they did the second one, with Mick and then '98 at King of the Ring, where everybody goes, what are they going to do? Yeah. And even Mick has been on record saying, we got to do something because this match is going to suck without it. So I think that in a very similar situation, you go, this match, because they went to a level where you're like, who's going to top this? What are you going to do to escalate the violence, to escalate the issue enough where we get to this kind of match and have to go to that level? What are you going to have to do that? And to your point, I don't know if there's anything else that they could have done outside of going the whole light tube route that could have, like we're not going, Big Japan here. We're not going FMW style here. We're still in the States. But, I think that you have to be very careful, and I don't think you should see a type of match like that in AEW for a long time. That needs to be reserved for something to where Hell in a Cell used to be, where it's not an annual pay-per-view, it's not going to happen once a year. No, this is when nothing else solves the problem and the issue becomes big enough, then we go here. Yeah. Outside of that, you don't touch it. It's not an every week, it's not an every month or quarterly. I know AEW's doing quarterly, but whatever you do, you don't go near that until you absolutely have to, where you go, okay, next All Out or whatever they're calling their big show, whether it's another Double or Nothing or whatever, you don't even touch it for that. It's a moment in time where you go, this feud is so hot, it is so big. Like if MJF and Cody feud for like the next year and a half, then that's where you go. Yeah. That's when you go, there's nothing else that you can do. This has to happen this way. So I think that they kind of booked themselves in the corner a little bit with that. Let's go down the results just real fast for us, just in case anybody... Spoilers ahead, I guess. It's been like a week and a half, so get over it.
So we started the show off with Proud and Powerful Santino Ortiz beat the Young Bucks, Matt Nick Jackson, 21 minutes. Yep. Good match, solid opener.
You know, the Bucks are doing... The Bucks, Kenny... And Cody, to a certain extent, are doing exactly what they need to do. They are getting talent over. Jericho, notwithstanding, Jericho was already over. But point being, they are all the guys that are the known commodities in this company, and they are doing everything in their power to go, everybody else, beat us. Yeah. Beat us, because it's almost like you can't touch us. You know what I mean? Like, Kenny, as long as no one kicks out of the one-winged angel, is untouchable. Because once he hits that, it's over. So it's like, they're doing a really nice job, I think, of putting themselves... in the position to go, no, this is our company. This isn't just a way to get ourselves over. Yeah. They need to be the ones to put these teams over, and they're doing a great job. Yeah. Continue.
Adam Page defeated Pac in 18 minutes and 30 seconds. Pretty good match.
That was a return match. Yeah. Yep.
You have Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard defeating Joey Janela. Yeah. And
I feel like it was a match that Shawn Spears had to win, almost, to kind of get something back, because you have some time invested in him. Yeah. So it's like, okay.
So you had SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. He defeated the Lucha Bros and Private Party.
Yep.
And at the very end, it was revealed that Christopher Daniels is now back from injury. He came in like the Pentagon mask and stuff and beat up Pentagon. Yep. So now the 3 are back. Now they can 3-bird the title a little bit. Next you had Riho defeated Emi Sakura for the AEW to retain the Women's Championship.
Yep.
Your main event, air quotes, because the last match doesn't technically count. You had Chris Jericho, the champ, defeat Cody by technical submission because, as we all know, MJF threw in the towel while he was holding him in the submission because Cody couldn't move.
And then
MJF hit the turn on him.
Yeah, which we knew was coming. And now because of that, Cody no longer can challenge for the title.
Yep. Like ever.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
That's I think gonna get pulled around. I feel like soon it's gonna be one of.
It's like when John Cena loses his career, gets fired.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of one of those.
It's gonna go one of those things where we go, well, MJF did it, I didn't do it. That's gonna be a promo, and I guarantee like those are exact quotes that are gonna be said in about a year, where it's gonna go. I didn't tap out.
Or MJF's got a shot at the title, and then like Cody beats him to get his shot. At something
and then MJF's like. I'm gonna put I'm never gonna challenge again. That Cody costs him, and it's gonna go. Let's do a number 1 contendership match. And Cody wins or something. Exactly, I agree.
Right.
And then you had the unsanctioned Lights Out, which technically doesn't count on the record match, where Moxley defeated Kenny Omega in about 40 minutes.
Which I think is a little bit of a cop out, but it's fine. But yeah, they went a long time too.
They did.
They went really.
They really built up a lot of the stuff in that match, and it was very good. It was just kind of like it's just not gonna hit with every fan.
Right,
like,
for sure.
That was one of the matches that are like half the fans are just gonna go, okay.
I will say last thing on this before we move on. The one thing I will say about this, kind of our point with the Moxley Omega match, where we're saying that they kind of peaked out maximum violence level. I think to the contrary, I think that this was a solid. I think you're right in your assessment where it maybe wasn't the best show ever, right? But I think that's okay because I think that. To our analogy where you don't know what's going to top that level of intensity with Moxley and Omega, you can top this show, which I think is a smart thing because they still have so much talent that you need to get over. Like Wardlow just debuted this past week, right? That's going to be a player.
He's with
MJF, right? That's his heater. That's going to be a guy. MJF finally coming into his own. That's going to be a big thing. You still have guys like Havoc and you know a lot of these guys, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and all these other talents that you didn't even have on this show. Lots of time.
So and here's the last question on this topic, I guess, is how long do you wait till you bring a mid-card title in with all the talent you have there?
Soon.
Because they said that they weren't going to anytime soon, but I think unlike NXT, where they like had time and then they developed a lot of mid-carders, this show has so many mid-carders.
No, you need to because you do not have a fortified heavyweight division yet, right, for the world title. And with Jericho rightfully being your champion right now and holding it for the foreseeable future, once again, rightfully, I think the mid-card title is a championship that you can establish quickly, give guys a purpose, right? Instead of just fighting to fight, right, in a win-loss record, which is good, but at the end of the day, right now, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't right now because you're not fighting, you're quote-unquote in rankings for the world title. But let's be real here. If Sammy Guevara was 5-0, okay, great, he gets a world title shot on TV, and then he loses, right? Darby Allin, one match, great match, no doubt about it, but Jericho's going over. Like, it's not a thing. So with the mid-card title, I think it does two things. Number one, it gives you a reason to watch every single week because I think you can have a title match almost every week, right, with that. And then two, I think what it does is it gives, it allows you to have a title change more often.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say for instance, right, Hager becomes the first television champion. We're just going to call it TV title because I think that's what they're going to want to call it. He becomes television champion, right? He's a bad mamma jamma, no doubt about it, right? Gives the Inner Circle another championship, right? Santana Ortiz, they win the tag strap. Okay, now we've got like this thing working together, right? But then Hager gets beat by it's a championship that anybody can hold, right? And then once you do it in a similar fashion to what they did in Ring of Honor, where, okay, Jay Lethal was television champion for 2 years before he finally got the world title shot. You know what I mean? And that's where you do the thing, whether it's with Cody or whoever. So lots of depth means great title matches, which makes that mid-card title mean that much more, which then explains frequent title changes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Lots of great stuff there for sure. Let's talk. What do you want to talk? Let's talk the NBA here and the rest. What do we want to talk about? Right? It's our show. Let's talk about load management in the NBA. Now, this is a hot topic. A couple weeks ago. When Kawhi was kind of sitting out any of the back-to-backs, right? The Clippers played a Friday, then a Saturday. He's sitting out one of those games. And LeBron now has come out and said he's not taking off time unless he's hurt, right? Which is contrary to what happened last year and years prior, right? Where he was, he kind of took some time and obviously as the Lakers were kind of officially eliminated from playoff, he kind of went, I'm done.
I would say, to that point, and I will say this quickly, is I would say early in the season, until he got hurt on December 25th, he did not take any games off. They were third in the West. He was...
Yeah, and then he got hurt.
There. He gets hurt. The team started to go down, and he went, well, there's no point in playing now if we're not going to go anywhere.
Right, exactly.
So that's the definitive. Here, and then I guess I'll just start with it now, is I think my problem is I hate that he's doing it so early, is my thing. Like, you're going off, and you're 7-5. You're not, 12-0 taking these games off.
Right,
You're 7-5. Like, your team kind of needs you because you're
because Paul George is out too.
Well, Paul, he just came back.
He came back, right? Or he was out, I should say.
He was out too. So you had a game, I get if you played up until Paul George's debut and then you played that game and then you took the next game off so Paul George kind of have the spotlight a little bit.
Right.
That's fine. But you took a game off when Paul George wasn't there, and now neither one of your stars are playing. And then you took 2 losses back to back because you didn't want to play in those games.
Right.
And that's where I kind of have problem with it.
Yeah.
Because I think, okay, if LeBron wanted to take a game off, make sure it's not the same day AD takes a game off.
Right.
So you have at least one of them out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure. And I think,
it's
it's one of those things to where, I think the only problem I have with it, like you said, is the early part of the season. My guys, you just started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get it, training camp and all that crap. But I'm we're a month in.
Yeah.
We're not even, we're not even at Christmas yet.
Yeah.
For goodness sakes. I mean, let's go here a little bit, and to their point, and I think you said earlier that Mark Cuban made comments. Where it's good for the NBA, it's bad for the fans, right? Whereas I'd be pissed if I'm a Clippers fan and, Paul George ain't playing and Kawhi ain't playing.
Yeah.
What the hell am I watching?
Exactly.
Patrick Beverley? What do you do? You know what I mean? No offense to Patrick Beverley, but that's not what I'm paying to see. It's funny in some regard, and I think you're going to see. I don't think this is. I think this is a trend that's going to continue to happen too, and I think because the NBA wants these playoff matchups to be so volatile, and like we talked about a couple weeks ago, where there is a lot of excitement around the league about the potential matchups that you're going to see, right, in both conferences. Like the Celtics coming out of nowhere, playing some of their best ball right now. They're they're on top of the East, cruising.
They're technically on top of the whole league. Right?
Yeah, right. So that's what I'm saying. So you're just kind of you have these guys and you're like, okay, and then you got the Clippers over here we're just going to sit them. And we're just going to do it. You're protecting an investment, which I get, but from a fan perspective, you're like, man, this sucks.
Yeah, well, you have that perspective, but you also have, just from as a Clipper perspective and a Kawhi perspective, when you did it last year, your team was amazing without you. Your team is 19-5 when you didn't play last year on Toronto.
Right.
You already lost 3 games, and you only rested 6 games this year already. And you lost 3-3 when you don't sit, or when you sit or whatever.
Right.
So at that point, your team around you is not good enough, and maybe when Paul George comes back, it might change a little bit, but your team's not. And I thought they would be good enough, but it doesn't look like they're going to be good enough when you don't play to be able to beat some of these better teams.
For sure. You don't have the depth that Toronto has.
That Toronto team, for all the crap I'll give them for the Warriors being hurt and everything, that team was actually legitimately a very good team. Yeah. And you see it this year when they don't drop off the face of the planet without Kawhi. They're actually have a winning season right now without Kawhi. So they actually can do some damage.
Right. Do you think that? Are you concerned at all that this is going to hurt? I get why they're doing it right from a playoff perspective, but do you think that this is going to kind of hurt them as a whole, as the league goes, where you go, okay, well, I'm not going to watch half the regular season now, and you're a pretty big basketball. You're a much more bigger basketball fan than I am. I don't watch nearly the amount of games that you do, but especially if it's not Pistons games, I'm really definitely not locked in at all. Yeah. Does this, as a fan of the game as much as you are, does this make you go, well, then I'm not investing my time, my money, anything, because why do I care if you don't care as a league about these games? why should I, as the consumer, sit, devote time, spend money to go to see a game, buy merch, whatever the case is? I don't care until you care.
I will say that in the NBA, there are about 8 teams that no matter who they play, if everyone's playing, I will watch, and Clippers are in that 8.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
It's like Lakers, Clippers, Rockets, Bucks, to name a few, are teams that they could play.
Doesn't matter.
Orlando, and I'm like dead on like watching this game because those are just fun teams to watch.
For sure.
But when Kawhi and Paul George don't play, or when James Harden takes a day off, or Westbrook, then I just go, why do I watch?
Right. Yeah.
So I will say yes to that answer.
Yeah.
And also a last point on this.
Yeah.
I think that no one's talking about is this could hurt because I think in the West. You need to be a top 3-4 seed.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you're resting games, and you set 22 games, and you go 11-11 through those games, if you're not a top 3-4
you're not winning out with you on the court.
You're not going far as a 6 seed, having to go play at Denver, at Houston, and then playing the Lakers, who are 7 home games for the Lakers.
Right.
Because there's more Lakers than Clippers fans when they play in LA in that series.
Absolutely.
Like, even though Clippers will have home games.
Right.
Like games 3 and 4, whatever, they're Lakers home games when they play each other.
Oh, absolutely.
So they're all in
that's what's crazy about it too, is that you do not have the luxury of being like, oh, we'll just coast. Like the Warriors last year coasted throughout the entire regular season. It's not like that anymore. The
level of play has increased because there's so many 2 superstars in every team that you go like the Warriors would go to Houston and go, okay, so KD, you can sit, we got this without you kind of thing.
Right.
Like the Clippers are like, if we're not full force playing Houston, we're not going to win. If we are not full force against the Bucks, we will not win.
Right.
So now all these games are heightened. Yep. So now
do you worry at all? I'm going to talk specifically Lakers here just for a second. We're not talking Pistons here, guys, right now. The Pistons are
4-9, and they are 13th in the East right now, so we are not going to talk about
that. Exactly. They're not. Once they get back to full strength, it's kind of start rolling here a little bit. But 2 points I want to make. Number one, do you think that the chemistry factor, right? A lot of these guys are moving, new teams, stuff like that. Like, do you think that's going to hurt them the more they sit? And then 2, as a LeBron fan, as much as you are,
I was gonna say I'm not a Lakers fan.
Yeah, no. Are you concerned that if LeBron plays all 82 games? Right, that the risk of or close to all 82 games, do you think that the injury risk is substantially higher than if he plays 62 games?
Okay, so here's what I would say about that point is his age and everything.
All thrown into it. All that.
But I will say that there are games, and this is what I want to see from Kawhi more importantly. Yeah. There are games like they played Phoenix a couple. Or no, not Phoenix. It was. It was some not very good team. Yeah. LeBron played 24 minutes, scored 30 points. They were up by 30 in the third quarter. Then he sat the rest of the game. Okay. Those are kind of stuff I want to see. Okay. Like if you play all 82 games, but you're playing 26, 27 minutes, you get your 20, 10 and 10 or whatever, and your team's up by 15, and then you go to the bench. And
you're available in case something happens. Yeah. But if you got it,
But you got it back. You guys take care of it. AD can be up there because he's 26. You should be able to play the rest of the game. Right. AD, you can take over. Kuzma, you guys got this. I'm going to take my minutes off so I can get ready for the next game or whatever. That's the stuff that LeBron's been doing this year. Mm-hmm. When he's had to come, Sacramento, they only won by 2 the other night. Those are games that he comes to play, and he'll actually go play the whole game out, his 30 whatever minutes. Yeah. But there are games through the season that he'll be playing 26, 27 minutes. Right. Okay. And that's good. Yeah, also, I think if you're going to play all 82 and you have a better chance of getting the 1 seed, I think as a 1 seed, you're playing... Name that the Warriors as an 8 seed, say, if they somehow make the 8 seed or whatever. If you're playing the Warriors this first round, you can go, I'll play 30 minutes in the first round while Kawhi has to play 38 minutes to somehow beat Denver. Right. You know what I mean? Exactly. So you can kind of take time in the first round off a little bit too to get yourself ready for the later rounds that are going to be tough. So to answer your question.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I don't think it'll hurt him playing 82 with how he's playing them right now.
Right. Okay, that's cool for sure. All right, and then last question, right? Like I said before, if you were a Clippers fan, right? Are you concerned at all that you're concerned about? Okay, is this team going to gel? What matters most in February, March?
What I would hope is that when it comes that time, that Kawhi won't. I'm hoping that he's taking time off now so he plays later. Right. But that hasn't been his thing. He's taking more games off later than early normally in his career. So I would be very nervous as a Clippers fan that
this is not
especially as I've been saying, if they're a 5-6 seed and you have to go against Houston or Denver, you don't have that. Okay, let's make this work in the playoffs and get ready for the Lakers. Like you have to be ready and come to play in the playoffs.
Very much so. Very much so. It's gonna be interesting to see. We'll kind of see how this goes. It's fun to think about where we're gonna be at, especially like right around Christmas time. That's kind of like the barometer, I think, for a lot of NBA fans, and kind of saying, all right, here's the time in which, all right, whether you think your team has something or you don't. You know what I mean? Like the Pistons are gonna need to turn it around quickly here before they get too far out of the race. Very capable of doing so, but the point being is like, okay, by Christmas we need to be above 500. You know what I mean? And you need to be kind of start playing some of your better ball as we kind of get into the later months where you go, okay, now we feel okay.
Pistons got to get healthier.
They got to get healthy. Yeah, they got to get healthy quick. Absolutely.
For how much I don't like Reggie Jackson, he needs to
be on the field, be on the court. Yeah, for sure.
Be
well, yeah, right. Even with Derrick Rose there, you need another guy. Yeah. You need somebody else there along with Blake and Drummond and all that good stuff. All right, that's going to be it for part 1. After the break, part 2, we're going to talk Kaepernick. We're going to talk Michigan State and that barn burner of a football game. And we're going to talk college football, playoff, all that great stuff, and more after the break. Stick around.
Hey guys, it's the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Mendeca. It is the 1-year anniversary of the I'm Always Right Sports podcast. And what better gift to get yours truly, or the Mark Zone, or even the Whaleman, hell, even the Brain, Emily Merkel, than by going to subscribing to our YouTube page. Look up I'm Always Right Sports Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us on all your favorite streaming services as well. Now here's part 2 of episode 51 of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast.
And welcome back to part 2 of episode 51 of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. All right, Mike. Let's do some dirty work here. Let's go. Let's jump into
dirty work.
Yeah, we're going to jump into the weeds a little bit here. NFL versus Kaepernick, round 44. It feels like. Colin Kaepernick Saturday. When you guys be hearing this, Saturday, so a couple days from there. Had his open workout for all NFL teams. Had a whole bunch of scouts there. Pulled a quick one on the NFL. Right, the NFL wasn't going to allow media in there, and then Kaepernick said, "No, I'm not going to do it then." And so got media out there. From some of the reports, looked pretty good, right? Was able to hit the long ball with some pretty good consistency. I
watched some of it.
Yeah, right? So I didn't think, I saw some of it and I was like, okay, as much as you can get from that kind of, staged, insulated workout like most pro days are, you felt like, okay, looked pretty good. Just a couple quick things in this. We're not going to go political here. We don't do that on the show. It ain't that serious, folks. So we're not going to go that route with it. We don't subscribe to those kind of theories. But what I do want to talk about is just from an on-field product. Do you think that he should be, or that he or will be signed within the next, let's say, calendar year? It's tough, right? Because it's almost like one of those things, like you just need one team to be like, all right, let's just try.
I'm going to say I don't think so, because I don't think there's a team that's one quarterback away from doing something.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I would say, and here are some teams, if the Cowboys, if Dak Prescott gets hurt this weekend, out of the grace of God or whatever, then I think that's someone that would pick him up going, okay, we need you for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks to just win a few games so we can get our quarterback. Like, I don't think anyone's going to go, we're going to sign you to be our guy for a long term. Like, I don't think that's what any team would want. Yeah. But, like, and this is what I've been saying, that, like, Stafford's been hurt. If we were 5-3-1 or something, I'm like, we go get him, win 3 games, and then when Stafford comes back, you're actually like, he's the backup, and you're not like
screwed. And that's, I'm glad you brought that up, because I have been very much in the camp of the Lions should sign him. And no other reason. Like, once again, I'm going to say this a million more times while we're on this topic. This is not a political opinion, okay? Once again, we don't do this as a sports show for a reason. But from an on-the-field product, there is not a single person who can tell me right now that Jeff Driscoll is a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick. Yeah. It's not a thing. It's just not, guys. I know people want to be like, well, he wasn't good in San Francisco. I don't care about that, right? The Colts brought Kerry Collins out of retirement because they knew their backup quarterback sucked when Peyton Manning went down. You can't tell me that, okay? I would take this guy with a week and a half in the playbook to go, let's go see what happens. You're going to probably lose anyway. Let's be real. Without Stafford on the field, Lions are trash. You know what I mean? You had a guy who played MVP-like numbers, and he was still 3-4. So you mean to tell me with this guy, Jeff Driscoll, I don't know this guy, where did he come from, okay? Yeah. So the point being is that I would have at least taken the risk to say, you know what? maybe let's be the smartest one in the room for once and just go, let's just say, screw it. What's the worst case scenario? He's awful and you lose games, right? Best case scenario, he's okay. He gets you through a period where maybe you can steal a couple games, like that Bears game last week. You mean to tell me that if Stafford didn't play in that Bears game, the Lions will beat Bears? I mean, come on. Yeah. Let's be real. So it's like, with that kind of logic in mind, I just go, why not? Yeah. You're out of the playoffs at this point, so why not give it a chance to go, maybe let's just see what happens. If he's bad, you cut him. And then you prove everybody in the NFL right. You say, see, he can't play in the league anymore. Yeah. Or B, you go, wow, actually, he's not terrible. And maybe a team like Cincinnati, where they're going to get rid of Andy Dalton, they can bring him in for a year while they draft Tua or Herbert or whoever they draft with the first pick. You just let him sit behind a guy knowing, I don't care what he does out there because we're just grooming the next guy. Whatever the case may be, but to say that he is not better than at least a backup quarterback out there right now is ridiculous. He may not be great. I'm not saying he ever even was, to be honest with you. He wasn't great at Nevada. But at the same point, you can't tell me that why not roll the dice? What do you have to lose? You're losing anyway. You're going to be 3-6. The Cowboys are going to kill us today. So it's going to be a disaster. You know what I mean? Now, the second question would be, if you are a general manager, right? Say a team like Cincinnati, right? Or Miami, right? Because that's been a dumpster fire with Rosen and Fitzpatrick, whatever. Like, knowing that you're going to go get your quarterback of the future, right? Say your ownership's like, listen, you got 4 years, so relax. If you're sucking now, let's build it. Let's do it right? Do you at least entertain the idea to go, okay, let him go out there and just get pulverized and do whatever, just maintain. Yeah. And while we're over here like, okay, this is the precious little thing on this side. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's okay, Tua. You get healthy. It's all going to be okay. Like, we're going to get you there. We're going to get the pieces around you. Then we'll put you in the best position to succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, I guess that's also a place you could go to is one of those. I'm just saying, I don't think anyone would.
I don't think anybody's willing to do it. I don't think so, which is unfortunate.
Literally, the only way it would happen if there's like Russell Wilson gets hurt and he's only out for a week or two, and you're like, we just need you for one game. Yeah. Like, just do your thing for one game. Right. Let's see if you're good enough to win this one game, and then maybe you'll get other chances elsewhere. But we have our guy. We just need you. Like, that's where I see him going is we need you for one game kind of scenario, not like all right.
And we're gonna be the backup. That's fine. Yeah. That's the part that kills. Just like, okay, then he's the backup. Okay, great. You know, how many chances did Tebow get in this league? 45?
He had Denver, then he went to the Jets, then he went to the Patriots, and then he left.
Right? I mean, my good, did he get a workout somewhere else too? I thought
probably.
He got a workout.
I just know those.
I don't remember. Like, the Patriots can't fix it. No one can fix it. You know what I mean? So it's like, come on. You know, like I said, do I think he's a great quarterback? No. Do I think he's a good quarterback? Not really. To be honest with you, no. But do I think he's better than Jeff Driscoll? Yes. Do I think he's better than Josh Rosen? Yes. Do I think he's better than whoever whoever Cincinnati's going to trot out today? Yeah. I don't even. What's his name? Do you even know his name?
Who?
Cincinnati's starting quarterback?
Ryan Finley.
Finley. There we go. Yeah. Nuh-uh.
From NC State.
There you go. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they just tried to. But point being, right? He's better than.
Oh yeah, he's definitely better.
You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. I'm like, and if it comes out he wants too much money, then all the reasons to go, let's entertain it, and then you get to the report saying it's this or that, then you've acknowledged all the rumor and the innuendos and everything, and then all this goes away. It's a win-win-win for everybody. It'd have been a great time. All right, I'm off my soapbox now. Let's talk college football. Let's talk Michigan State. Yep, we're gonna talk that first.
So if you want to know right now, I got the insider from our man Kyle over here. Oh. He's not showing up, but he's over around Michigan area. Okay. He watched the game, and now he's got some stuff that he wants me to say on behalf of
Whaleman himself.
So I guess I'm going to say these. Did you watch the game yesterday?
Yes, I did. I watched the game. Okay, full all the way through. Yep.
Okay, so I will say these statements and tell me what you think about them. I guess.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right. So first one. The game shows that Gaddis' offense is supposed to look like when they have it all figured out. Agree or disagree? We're gonna call it agree or disagree.
Yeah, I'm gonna say disagree to a certain extent because they still can't run the ball with any sort of effectiveness. Okay. They can't run the ball.
The offense is hitting their stride now. They have figured it out.
No. They have not. I would say that Shea had his best game as a Wolverine yesterday.
Did.
I mean, and for all the crap I give Shea Patterson, it's well documented that I do not like Shea Patterson, but had a hell of a game yesterday. Did a great job. I would say that more than anything, though, Michigan State's defense is banged up, and it's not hitting their stride. They're averaging 31 points a game. Yeah. That's not hitting your stride.
Yeah. The emergence of Hassan Haskins and the run game has been huge for the pass game.
Haskins has been a revelation for them because I think it takes the pressure off Charbonnet. However, they're still averaging like 2.4 yards a carry. That's not a good run game in any form.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if Christian Turner transfers after the season because he's been passed up by too many people.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. You ain't playing, I don't care.
The new bracket defense has really helped with the crossing routes.
It has, and I think that Urban Meyer is the guy who really said it when I think that this is the defense basically set up to stop Ohio State. Mm-hmm. That's what they've done, and I can appreciate the fact that Don Brown didn't die on the sword and went, no, I'm going to run my defense the way I want to run it because you got gashed so many times by it. Mm-hmm. They're an undersized defense that flies to the football, and that's where they're succeeding. They stop the run extremely well for being as undersized as they are. I give credit to Don Brown and Harbaugh for making the adjustments necessary. But that defense is going to get tested next week. Indiana's no joke at Indiana, and especially against Ohio State. Yeah. So I will say right now it's been a revelation for this team, but your tests are coming the next 2 weeks.
The D-line has gotten better and better, especially when they put all 4 defensive ends in on obvious passing downs.
Those stunts, they were garnering tons of pressure, especially the second half against Lewerke, made him extremely uncomfortable. I would agree with that.
And when the offense is being called correctly is when Shea's at his best because he is more confident.
I think Gaddis has done a great job early, and I think that's why maybe the run numbers aren't there. And you can agree with me too. You're a former quarterback, so you can kind of have some insight on this as well. Where you go, when you think about it, by getting Shea in a rhythm sooner, right? Quick passes, the screens out to Donovan Peoples-Jones or whoever, right, to kind of get 4 or 5 yards at a time. That's kind of like in place of your run game, but also it's getting him into a rhythm like, okay, I'm 4 for 5, we got the jitters out, we're moving the ball, we may not score, but okay, we got a couple first downs, right? Let's build off of that rather than handoff, 3rd and 9, now I got to push the ball down the field where we don't garner tons of separation usually. It's going to be harder for me to fit that ball because Shea is not good at man-to-man coverage. That's why the throwing the ball in early downs in zone coverage, I think, is benefiting him. Where he goes, you know what? I got to put it in an area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And make my playmakers go get it, rather than I have to put it in the spot in order for him to beat his man. Is that kind of similar to what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, I agree.
That's kind of what I feel is happening right now. And for Shea, specifically turning it around ever since that Penn State game where you go, okay, they're kind of flipping what they normally do, on quite a few drives where you go, okay, 1st down, 1st and 10, instead of, all right, here's a halfback dive. Again, it's, hey, we're going to 4 wide and, we're going to throw a quick screen, and have something happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they played very well. I think it comes more to, I don't think Michigan State's very good at all. Yeah. And I think they just, and this is what we've always said about Michigan, but it traits to every other team, though.
Yeah, for sure.
They just use their athletes because they are, when they're that much better than you, I would just take you down to Pound Town. Yeah. Because you could just, when you just look at the eye test watching the first 2 drives of the game, you went, wow, Michigan's just dominating on both sides of the ball.
Right.
Like, Lewerke threw a screen, and he missed the guy running on the screen route, and I went, wow. Right. That's impressive to miss a 5-yard just a dump.
Even when Michigan State scored, I went, "Oh, this is over," because I was like, "They're going to go down the field and score," and then they had that 98-yard drive, and I went, "They've got no answers whatsoever."
Yes.
And here's the thing, and I know Michigan fans are in all their glory right now, right? They beat State by 1 million.
They beat Notre Dame by 1 million.
They beat Notre Dame by 1 million, right? 2 rivalry, check. You know what I mean? Big matchup coming up here, but. What I will caution people to say is this, and I think you made that point where you said, Michigan State's not a good football team. This is not a good football team. If this was anything else other than a blowout, I'd have been pissed today. Because Michigan State's not good. Lewerke is not good. Their offense does not work. They could not run the ball at all yesterday. So Michigan, with a great win, rivalry week, right? Tensions were high. They did a great job of coming in prepared, knowing that offensively they couldn't do a lot, so let's smother them, and then let's just go air it out, right? But you're a better football team than Michigan State. We've been saying it all year. There has never been a week for me to go, oh yeah, Michigan State's going to have, you know what I mean? Maybe in the regular season they all went, Michigan State's got a chance to maybe do something with that defense. Yeah. Defense banged up, they're hurt, Lewerke's awful. They're not a good football team. So Michigan coming out and dominating the way they did, I'm happy about it, but I also, if you were a Michigan fan, you should have expected it because that's the kind of game that should have happened. It's like they were playing Maryland out there. They should have dominated because they are a better football team than Michigan State. Thoughts on the D'Antonio comments after, where he was a little sour after it, where they asked him a couple questions, but I think I'm done. And he's kind of, that kind of stuff. Like I don't know how you feel about that. I think D'Antonio's been a class act for most of his time there. Do you think he's kind of done?
I think he didn't change anything because he just was like, I can fix it, and then now it's like
I can't fix it.
Yeah, he goes, I just can't do it anymore.
I just feel like he's just there. He's just like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. I think he's just kind of like waiting for them to fire him a little bit. Like I hate to say that. What a great coach for that program. I mean, honestly, the best coach they've ever had. But like, it's like one of those things where like it's almost like, man, it's like you just got. I feel like there's no fight left in him almost. You know what I mean? But I will say this before we move on to the next topic here. Michigan State fans who are calling for a change, I understand that you want to change, but be careful because it could get worse. Yeah. I know people are like,
D'Antonio's in the Harbaugh camp right now where you go, who are you going to get that's better?
Right.
It's tough.
Right. You're going to go hire some young upstart. Now you could be like Minnesota, and PJ Fleck is a revelation to that program, and oh my gosh.
And now they might be a legit threat in the coming years.
Or you could go back to John L. Smith days. Those are your two options. So I'm not saying necessarily that they should make a change. I'm just saying that you may be better off with D'Antonio firing some guys and still be your head coach rather than Joe Schmo, offensive coordinator over here, we're going to hire Steve Sarkisian to be our head coach. That would be the worst idea ever. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Just appreciate the fact that you had to run the way you did, and let's, just careful. All right, let's talk college football playoff now. I know I waited to the end because I knew you wanted to talk about the most, so that's why I waited to the end.
Maybe second most.
So, all right, so obviously, right, we've got, who do we got? We got Ohio State, LSU.
So the top four, or the top six as of this second, which is going to change as this recording comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
But as of right now, I think it's going to be, it's LSU 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson's 3, 4 is undetermined, but it's probably Georgia because they beat Auburn and they were 4 last week. So I'm assuming Georgia's going to stay there. Alabama probably won't move. Oregon probably won't move, and Utah won't move. Like all these teams won, so none of them are moving. So I'm assuming the 1 through 7 or 8.
Ohio State was on a bye this week, right? Did they play this week?
They played Mayor. No, they played somebody. They played somebody.
Okay,
I think they played Rutgers, and they won 56-21.
Sorry. Really? 21 points? Mm-hmm. Really? Wow, that's interesting. Anyway, just surprised Rutgers could score that many points ever. Yeah. I think you're right. So, Mike, I want to ask you though, with the injury now to Tua Tagovailoa, right, with the hip and everything else, he's out for the rest of the year. Is this one of those things that Bama's able to pull the rabbit out of the hat a second time when they have a quarterback ready to go?
I'm on a flip here because I look at it and I go, I think you would have an argument if LSU, because LSU clinches and Georgia just clinch, so they're guaranteed to go at the SEC championship and they're 1-4.
Right.
If LSU beat Georgia, I could definitely see a spot if Tua was there to go, okay, Alabama's the 4th best team in college football. Right. Let's put them into number 4.
Right.
But without Tua and having, I think it's a freshman. I'd have to fact check. Pretty sure it's a freshman coming in though. Mm-hmm. And you're not really playing anyone besides Auburn, and Auburn's not that very good right now. Yeah. You're not really playing anybody that's going to go, he's good, we're going to put him in the Final Four. Yeah. I think that opens the path for another team to get in there.
Okay.
Because, and this is me assuming LSU beats Georgia, and Georgia then is out with 2 losses.
If Georgia beats LSU, we're in a whirlwind.
Well, we're in the whirlwind because then we know the Final Four.
Right, yeah.
Because there's no way you can, at this moment, if LSU's 12-0, even if they lose the SEC championship game, you cannot have them not in the Final Four.
Well, you can't have,
Because then you can't kick them out for, say, Alabama, because LSU beat Alabama. Right. So, no matter what.
Alabama, too.
Yeah. So unless you, flip, Oregon or Utah or someone in the 4 and kick them out, because Georgia beat them. But right now, in my stance, I have LSU at 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Ohio State pending them winning out against Penn State, Minnesota, and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
They're 2. Then at 3 you have Clemson because there's no way Clemson's losing to an ACC team the next 2 weeks. Sorry.
It's almost like we predicted that earlier in the season.
I guess I didn't predict them going out. So that's the 3. And my bubble team at 4, I'm putting Oregon in there.
Okay.
Pending that they went out and beat Utah in the Pac-12 championship.
That's going to be the big one right there because Oregon already has the early loss. Did they lose to Auburn?
They lost to Auburn.
Right.
Neutral site by 6 with 9 seconds left.
Right. Okay. So that's the one that's kind of like
that's the iffy one.
Right.
And
that benefit from Auburn being better.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
They really would.
Yeah.
They would benefit a lot from if Auburn beat Alabama.
Right.
Basically, Oregon's in.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And I'm in agreement with you so far. Honestly, I think that the biggest thing is with the change. Where are you putting out Oklahoma then? Because they've got the 1 loss.
Oklahoma,
right? They had a massive comeback yesterday, which they had no business being down as much as they were. No. But anyway,
I don't think. Well, Oklahoma for me doesn't reach the top 4 because their loss is to Kansas State, and that's
even if they win the Big 12.
Even if they win the Big 12, because I would look at say Oregon wins the Pac-12.
Yeah.
If you're gonna decide one of those 2, Oregon loses neutral site to a ranked Auburn team. Oklahoma loses to Kansas State.
Right.
Which loss is worse?
If I think that if Oregon were to beat Utah, who's up there as well,
who's up there at number 7, they're 6 and 7.
Right.
So if Oregon beats number 7 in the Pac-12 championship,
right.
and even if Oklahoma beats, I think Baylor would have been or whatever, who's in their conference or whatever, I think that win for Oregon is more significant winning the Pac-12 than it is for the Big 12 winning.
Is there any, so let's just play. I like playing this, what if game.
That's fine.
A bit because it's fun.
I will tell you I'm wrong.
What if Utah wins?
See now
that's where you go crazy
because I don't know if Utah
has a strong enough resume.
I don't know if you look at Utah because they lost to USC.
Right.
And USC's not very good. I don't know if you can look at that team and go, that's a top 4 team, and that's where I think you could see the Alabama slide in there at 4.
So Bama's going to benefit more from these teams losing to each other than anybody,
they will.
As long as they win out.
Yeah. So Alabama wins out. Their next 2 is South Carolina, who upset Georgia.
Right.
And they play Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
Right.
So they win those. You're 11-1 with no SEC championship game.
Right.
Correct? So Georgia and LSU play. They're 1-4. Assuming LSU wins, because LSU probably beats Georgia in the SEC championship. Georgia probably gets out because they have losses to South Carolina and LSU.
Yeah, it's 2 losses.
That's 2 losses without championship. You're probably out.
Yeah.
I would say Oregon beats Utah in the Pac-12 championship. I think they're in at 4. And Alabama gets kicked because you're not even playing in the SEC championship.
Right, so you're at best 5.
Yeah. However, I think if Utah wins and they beat Oregon, I think at that point you can go, I think Alabama's better than Utah.
Yeah.
Because I look at, I think, and I don't know how the committee will look at it, I look at your losses more than your wins. Because I'm like, do you have a bad, that's how Ohio State got buffed 2 years ago. When you lose to Purdue 56-24, that's an ugly loss at home. You cannot lose like that.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Alabama didn't get like you lose 46-41 at home to the number 1 team in the nation. That's not a bad loss. When you lose by double digits to Kansas State, as Oklahoma did, or Utah losing by 20 plus against USC, those are bad losses. Yeah. That makes it really hard to get in there.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, this is why we have him on the show, folks, right here for that kind of in-depth analysis. One more thing I want to throw, just one more monkey wrench at you there. Okay. I know I got you sweating a little bit here, but. What if Ohio State loses?
Okay, so if Ohio State, now where would you have them losing?
Let's say Ohio State doesn't win the Big Ten championship. So they're in the Big Ten championship now.
They are guaranteed. I think
as long as they win one of the next 3 games, right?
I think a monkey wrench is Penn State because Penn State only has 1 conference loss.
Right.
So if
let's say they get to the let's just say they run the table, they
get there and say lose to Wisconsin.
Yeah, they lose.
Arguably. I think they're not the 2 seed, but I don't think that you can keep them out because then you're competing with all the one loss teams like an Oregon and like a Utah if they won it or whatever, or you look at all these teams that are like 1-loss teams. Right. And I think Ohio State is the best 1-loss team because of your domination with Wisconsin and your domination probably over Michigan and your 48-0 beatdown in Michigan. Like you have all these
do you think
total
that
beatdowns.
So I guess my question is, this is the one problem that the Big Ten has always had, right? Is that the Big Ten historically, right, they kind of beat each other up, so it almost weakens the division, the conference as a whole a little bit. Do you think that Ohio State's dominance over the Big Ten, knowing there's nobody even close to them else, right? Like, Wisconsin's got 2, Penn State's going to have at least, probably will have 2 by the end of it, right?
Yeah.
Michigan's got 2, probably 3 if they lose to Ohio State, right? You got everybody else got at least 2 losses outside of Ohio State. Does that, if they were to not win the Big Ten championship, does that then go, well, crap, you didn't win the Big Ten. Yeah, you beat everybody else, but you didn't win your conference, and your conference isn't that good.
See, that's also, though, where I would put, like, an Oklahoma, though, is, say, even Oklahoma wins it or something.
Would you think that Ohio State's got a better resume? Say they lose to Michigan. It's not happening, but let's just play it. Okay. They lose to Michigan, go into the Big Ten championship game, and if they don't win it, do you think Oklahoma hops them then?
I think you have a case for, I think more importantly, Oregon hopping them. Say Oregon wins out, because I think a 2-loss team should never get in.
I agree.
Unless you expand to 8 and you have automatic bids.
What if Ohio State loses to Michigan but then wins the Big Ten championship? They're still solidly in there.
I think you're solidly in there because I think if you lose to Michigan is a rank, especially if Michigan beats Indiana. So say hypothetically, Michigan's ranked at 12. Hypothetically, right? You're Michigan or you're Ohio State. You go into Michigan. Say you lose by 10, or even a field goal is even better for them, because then you lose to 3 on the road. Now you're going to compare to Alabama, who loses by 5 at home. You have all these different home losses or a neutral site or whatever.
Right.
When you lose on the road, it's almost like I always say I would probably give you 4 points if you go on the road against a big team or something. So if you lose by 3, you really won it because you played so close to a good team.
Right.
Like Alabama, I'm like, it's almost like a tie to me because you were at home and you looked bad in the first half. The second half, you went nuts. So I'm like, it's not that awful of a loss, even though you lost at home. If Ohio State loses on the road, you get almost bonus points if you only lose by 3. It's not that bad of a loss to a top 12 team. I would say Ohio State still gets it.
So you're excited for college football playoffs?
I am so pumped. Let's put Oregon in the Final Four. Mark it down.
Oh my gosh.
Justin Herbert.
Battle of quarterbacks. I'll tell you that right now. That'd be a hell of a time.
Let's just throw out. You have Joe Burrow.
Yep.
You have Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Herbert.
Yep.
In a Final Four quarterback. That's probably some of the best quarterback action you've had in the college football.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to be it for episode 51 next week. Big 1-year anniversary for the I'm Always Right Sports podcast. For the Missing Whaleman, for the Merc Zone, I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and we will see you guys, as always, next time.